they will do very high damage when he mimic your skills. And also, put one thing into consideration is that every time he mimic one skill, he can gain 1 stack of Ghost Mark. I will mention this buff a little bit later, but let's just keep moving on the familiar itself. How it does was, if you are in the draw stance, you cast a Focus Blade, then he will cast a Focus Blade Ghost. Sounds pretty simple, but things are a little different in the basic stance. You could cast one of these 3 skills, and in the contrary is the ghost or the familiar will randomly cast one of those 2 skills here. It doesn't mean you are casting a Shadow Blade and he casts a Shadow Blade Ghost. No. If you cast a Phantom Moon Strike, he can cast both, one of these things. And the effect of that is, after he casts a Shadow Blade, you as a Blade Dancer would have a free Shadow Blade in 3 seconds. So doesn't matter with the cooldown limitations here. For example, just like the Distortion Warlock, if you have cast the first Dragon Call out, then you could get a free second Dragon Call without any limitation. But you have to cast it shortly, otherwise it's gone. The same thing happens here. So I will show you the familiar here. If I cast a F, cast a C, cast a V, cast a C, go to draw stance, cast F, cast F, cast F. Yeah. So he will mimic what you do. And by the way, he shouldn't do unlimited skills because he has his own focus. It's just a bug here, so his focus now is unlimited, but they will fix that. Okay, so it's time for the last part. It's called the fusion. I don't know whether you watch some stupid animations like Dragon Ball when Kakarot and Vegeta fuse to each other. That's pretty much what is going on here. So you will be fused with your familiar for 5 seconds after he disappears. So either after the max duration, or actually you could recall him earlier so that you want to cast your ultimate a little bit earlier. And this ultimate skill will be greatly enhanced with Ghost Mark. As I mentioned here, when your familiar mimics what you cast, it will gain 1 stack of Ghost Mark. And here it is. The ultimate is called the Soul Slayer Havoc. I just made it up. I don't know what English servers would call him, but it's just really fancy for me, so I made it up. You can see the damage modules here for that. It's a 2-hit skill, so you actually make a slash and the familiar create a havoc. And the maximum stack for Ghost Mark is 10. So if you take these things, the focus bar into consideration, the maximum of that was 100, and this familiar lasts for 20 seconds. That means it would have a maximum 100 and it recovers 5 every 3 seconds of 50. So that means 150 focus, and those things cost focus. You can't expect it have a real 150 focus because your ghost won't last as long as 20 seconds, for probably something like 90.5 seconds, and he doesn't recover the last 5 focus. So in order to get 10 stacks, you actually have to cast the focus blade because it costs less than 15 focus, so that you can actually get 10 stacks and make your Soul Slayer Havoc as high damage as possible. Yeah. And I haven't mentioned all the socials or the earrings or the weapons part, but I have to take it into consideration here, because for the latest social, for latest I mean the Iron Arc patch, because everyone knows NCSoft is trying to make an enhanced version of Black Tower. Really disappointed to hear that, because they are not making new dungeons this year. But I have to take that into consideration, because it increased the damage of Soul Slayer Hammer by 320%. I mean 300, you never saw that on a Soul Slayer, maybe, but not in such a crucial skill. So if you take that into consideration, that's actually a 420 plus a 420 AP damage skill, which would result, it may reach the damage limit. I don't know if you know it occurs, but it's actually there. The single hit damage limit in Blade and Sword is 100 million, so you can't exceed that. Like, even you got like 1 million AP on a single hit, you can't exceed 100 million, and this is a skill that it can probably reach that point. Also, Flash Step is another one that may reach the damage limit for Blade Dancer. Okay, I think I need to add other increase from the socials here, so you would know how strong this spec is. So for both RMB here is 90, sorry, it's round 2. It's 90% for the RMB here. I mean the Iron Arc Soul Shield. And for both F, it's 120% increase. For basic stance, C and V is 220. It's same here. So your familiar will receive the benefit from the Soul Shield, which makes him always greater than you. Sounds hilarious, but you have to admit your familiar is stronger than you. So for the focus blade, it's same to your focus blade, it's 120. For Phantom Flash and Flash Step, is pretty much just the skill to get you back from basic stance. It's 320, sorry. It's same to the Soul Slayer Havoc, it's 320. And also I will give you the number for the ring. Yeah, ring adds Phantom Moonstruck, so it's 15%. Shadow Blade is from earring, so that's from the ring. Shadow Frame is the earring, it's 80%. That's earring. And the Cyclone is from the necklace, it's 15%. In Korean server now, I know you always want to follow Korean server. That's not the case in China server, but just forgot about that. And also for the weapon, it gives you, for the RMB part, so Soul Card, Awaken, Soul Card, Flicker, Awaken, Blade Echo, it gives you 500% AP. I will write a 5 here. It's actually 400% base, and every 15 hit you will get an additional 1500, but in average it's just 500% AP. I will just write a 5 here. So same thing happens for the Awaken Soul Card, I will write like that. And for the Flicker and Awaken Blade Echoes. And next is the Bracelet. Bracelet is very important for the third spec Blade Dancer, because it gives you 800% AP, 8 for RMB, and also 8 for the Phantom Strike. So 8 for all these basic stance skills, and 10 for both jaw stance skills. That's a Bracelet. For the Soul Badge, the latest Soul Badge will give you a 6 for the RMB part, so 6 here. It's not necessarily always 6 because it has 3 stacks, and you have to make sure you get the highest stack to get 6. Each stack is 200% AP damage. But I think in most cases you will keep 3 stacks, so I will just write a 6 here. And lastly, the Mystic Bench. The Mystic Bench is triggered by the Shadow Blade, and the Bracelet is triggered by the Cyclone. I forgot about that. So, and the number is quite insane here, it's 20. So you could see the base damage is 13 here, and it adds 20. I'm not quite sure about the Mystic Bench. They seem to change it these days because one is probably too high, and second, its duration is really short. So I think many Korean players complain about that. Says after I cast Shadow Blade, I don't have enough time to cast 3 Focus Blades, and the last Focus Blade can't get that Mystic Bench damage there. It's just make everything more and more tricky. So they want to make the duration of the Mystic Bench a little bit longer, but on the other hand, they have to reduce the modulus increase for all these skills. So I'm not quite sure with this part. They are fixing this problem just like Phantom Assassins. So you know they made a lot of patches after it's on the Korean server. And I think the same thing would happen for the third Spec Blade Dancer. So that's pretty much how the damage part goes. And as you can see, the third Spec Blade Dancer has burst. The Jaw Stance and the Familiar are both bursts here, and the Link Familiar Fusion is also a burst. I think I forgot to show you the Familiar or the Fusion part. So let's start from the Familiar. Yes. So he will mimic you. 3 seconds left. Now he's gone, and you can cast the ultimate Havoc like that. That's pretty much the end of this video, and hopefully I will see you next time. I think on October the 29th, that's the time when third Spec Blade Dancer is on the real server in China, so not test server anymore, and there is a new solo dungeon called Mingfu Gongdian, which means Hades Palace, I think. It's not necessarily Hades, I know, not the Hades as in a Hades, but just means it's a place in the hell. Because in our test server, they don't give us free gears. These gears are absolutely trash, you know, from the Temple of Evolution and even something worse than that. Not like Korean server, they give them Iron Arc patch things so they could try the new solo dungeon. I can't do it right now because I don't have damage to try. But when it's on the real server, I could use my own Blade Dancer and just have a try of that. Thanks for watching.